They called me a natural leader. Sounds great, but nobody taught me how to survive it. I've lost count of how many school leaders I've met who were told they were natural leaders. They were confident, they were compassionate, they could speak well, organize well, hold the room. So they got promoted fast. And then the support vanished, pressure escalated, and the assumption was, you've got this, right? You're a natural. But leadership isn't natural, and it's not innate, and it's definitely not easy. Calling someone a natural leader isn't a compliment. It's a shortcut we use to ignore what they actually need. I've seen this play out over and over in schools, not because leaders aren't talented, but because we've confused potential with preparation. Here are 3 truths that have helped leaders I work with unlearn this myth and step into something more honest, sustainable, and powerfully skilled. The first truth is that being called natural can become a trap. I worked with a deputy who was bright, driven, deeply respected by her staff, and when the principal moved on, she was tapped immediately. No transition, no handover, no prep. And when things got hard, and they did, the response was, "You're so good at this. We know you'll figure it out," which is code for, "You're on your own." The myth of the natural leader isn't empowering, it's isolating. Because once people believe you were born for this, they stop offering support, they stop checking in, and they assume competence means capacity. But the truth is, even the most gifted leaders still need guidance, still need growth, and still need space not to have all of the answers. And when they don't get that space, they don't grow, they compensate. And that leads me to truth 2. Overperformance can mask under support. Another leader I worked with told me this: "I've been performing the role of leadership for years, but I've never had time to actually develop as a leader." But that hit me really hard because, honestly, it's very common. They'd been praised for their energy, their dedication, their ability to get things done, and so they did. They overfunctioned. They took on too much. And quietly, they began to burn out while still being celebrated for how much they could carry. We mistake capability for invincibility, but leadership is not a show of endurance, it's a craft. And when it's treated like a personality trait, leaders don't ask for help. They pretend they don't need it until it's too late. But it doesn't have to stay that way, because leadership isn't something you are, it's something you build. And that leads me to the third truth. Leadership isn't about traits, it's about practice. I was coaching a principal who was beating herself up over a difficult staff conversation. "I should have known how to handle it," she said. "That's what leaders do." But here's what I asked. If your teacher had a bad lesson, would you assume they're not cut out to teach? Of course not. So why do we treat leadership like it's either in you or it's not? We need to stop pretending this is a gift. Leadership isn't a trait, it's a discipline. And that means it's messy, it's iterative. It's something you build through practice, reflection, feedback, and honest support. Once she let go of the myth, her entire posture changed. She didn't have to be perfect, she had to be learning. The most dangerous thing about the natural leader narrative is that it sounds like praise, when really it's a barrier to growth. So here's what I believe. You don't have to prove you were born to lead, you just have to keep building the kind of leadership that lasts. One that's supported, one that's reflective, one that gives others permission to learn too. Let's stop celebrating leadership as personality and start investing in it as a practice. Now, this is exactly what we explore in the Professional Wellness Workshop, a free space I've created for school leaders who are tired of pretending they've got it all figured out and ready to grow in ways that are honest, sustainable, and supported. And when you register, I'll send you an advanced copy of my new book, Culture of Excellence: The Path to Empowered Teaching, Inspired Learning, and Intentional Leadership. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one leadership skill no one has taught you that you had to learn the hard way? Drop it in the comments and like this if it resonated. Follow me for more insight-driven leadership work, and share this video with a colleague who's tired of faking it and ready to grow for real.